All right. Elder Rock back with Arcade Laboratories, back on the bench for something a little different. So just started the build. I wanted just to, for document reasons, started the build of this Retro Chip Tester Pro developed by 8-Bit Museums, Stefan from Denmark. So this is to test static RAM, um, CMOS RAM. Yeah, basically to check RAM chips, which most testers do not do. There's very few of them in the world that will do it. And this is one, and it works well, they say. So yeah, but you got to build it yourself, kind of like a kit. But yeah, I got my resistors on, diodes. Not all the resistors, finished resistors tomorrow, but I think I got the majority of it done. Solder's looking pretty good. But here's the other thing I was going to show you. Yeah, I'm watching a How to Fix a Defender series because my awesome dude I met today ended up with like a bunch of Williams boards. I got some Robotron. I got two Defenders. What is this guy? Oh, this is another Defender. Oh no, this is Joust. Joust Defender. There's a original power supply, and then he gave me a big crate, a couple more Williams boards in there. The dude was just really freaking awesome, man. Really awesome. Defender was his favorite game back in the day. He said back in the arcade games, he put one bot in, and everybody would watch him play. They would all gather around him. Dude, he got watery-eyed. Like, he got watery-eyed when we was carrying this stuff out. Super awesome dude. See, it don't matter where you're from, what nationality. Games change people. They give them such a good feeling. I don't know. So there's my horde for today. And my project for the next couple days. Get this chip tester going, and that will be a nice additional piece of test equipment. Hey everybody, good morning from Small Village, Thailand. So on the bench, I've been kind of a project that's been in my queue for a while, is a 8-bit museum retro chip tester that was designed by a man named Stefan. Hopefully I got that right. Okay, so basically just finished the build. I finished the build a few days ago actually, and just kind of double checking my work. There's a lot going on here that you want to make sure that you have right before you apply power. The manual is really good and intensive. And I'm a manual guy. You know, I deal with a lot of manuals for my work, so technical manuals. So I wanted to go through the bomb manual and the operator manual before, I really put power to this thing, just to really make sure I understood some of the circuitry and the power options. Because with this board, what makes the power the power, you just need to wrap your mind around. There are different options and different capabilities. So here I have what I believe they call option 4 power supply. So this guy will supply 12 volts, negative 12 volts, 5 volts, and ground, regulated and unregulated. So basically to test all the chips, all the different categories of chips. I think this is the best option because it carries that negative 12.5 if you need it. But I did build out the other decent option. I think this is a good power supply if you don't want to build this one. And I figure maybe I'll use that one in the future if I'm dedicated to non-negative 12 volt chips or whatnot. Okay, so this is the power supply. So this is kind of the moment of truth here. I've double checked my work. I went back through and I installed, the only thing I had to do today was install these jumpers. And you have jumpers here too. JP 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those will, depending your input type, what you're using, barrel, USB, or micro USB, will determine what, and if you're using the module, will determine your jumpers here. So we're going to use micro USB, which the manual says these should all be open, which they are. And we're going to go ahead and mount this plate, mount our power supply. Micro USB, or the USB option is a 5-volt DC option. The thing requires, or this tester requires 200 to 300 millivolts to operate. If you use the barrel jack, Steven, he recommends 7.5 volts here. You can use 9 volts, but we missed it. The power regulator under this runs a bit hot, so it's okay if you put a heat sink on. I didn't put a heat sink on, so I borrowed a USB cable here, and you can see over here. Let's see over here. Get this guy going again. So over here I have a USB meter plugged in, and it's outputting 5 volts, which is nice. A lot of cheap ones put out like 4.8 volts or something lower. I'm not sure what the amperage is, and that's what we're gonna check out. Okay, moment of truth. I've been nervous. So hey, don't be nervous, be confident, right? So let's plug this thing in. Hopefully no smoke. Here we go. Check it out, man. Woo! Awesome. We have power. Oh, I made a mistake, guys. Not negative 12 volts. This carries negative 5, and 12. Wow. First time successful power on. I used the OLED screen. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think they kind of look cool. So, wow. Powered on, first time, no problem. I was really nervous about that. So, let's, I'm going to cut off camera here. I've been so focused on the build. I haven't really looked at menu navigation and stuff like that. Just a little bit, but let's learn how to navigate the menu. I'll be back and we'll throw some chips in. Okay, so an initial power up, let's look here. I'm not liking that. I don't know why. Why is it not showing? Why is it not showing any pull on amperage? Let's see why. Let's go next. I like this little thing. Like when I go to the market to buy anything kind of USB, I'll take this with me just to make sure. Yeah, I just really check the voltages for USB power supplies. Make sure they're 1 or 2 or 5 volts. Sometimes I'm not digging that. Why is it not showing amperage? Okay, I'm going to cut off camera, see what's going on, because right now I'm not exactly sure how many amps we're pulling, and I want to know. Okay, be back in a few. Okay, hey, so we're back. Went off and did a little bit of research in the manual, and I'll show you what I did here. I'm sorry for the wobble. My tripod is kind of wobbly a little bit, but so the manual is great, and there's an online version. And one thing I love about living in Thailand is that you can get all of these services done that are really expensive and difficult, like in Western countries, like at least in the U.S., you never get a PDF manual printed and spiral bound for just a few bucks. So I had the manual printed because I actually love the manual, and I think on the bench it's a good thing. It's easier to reference sometimes than going online or searching up on the computer, and you can make notes. I'm old school like that. Okay, so we're back with the tester. So we left off with the amp meter not working, and really me just not really knowing the menu or whatever. So I went through, and the menu, now I understand the menu, and I think I can break it down. This is actually a lot like the equipment that I use for work. Some of the test equipment and stuff like that. So this guy, and I realized now I know the problem with the amperage here. Let's just cycle him. The deal with this guy is very simple. the and I should have realized it before I even cut the video off. The Medusa head multi-ended connector, so you have opens there, so it can never. The way it's split, you have open grounds and open voltages, so it can never pull. It can never read a VCC. So I tried it out with a different cable, a newer one or whatever. This is the only one I have, but I'll get one later and we'll go back to the amperage. But let's check out the menu. Let me get down on here and let's see if I can get both the switches and wait. Okay, so really you have a reset button. This guy is I think really just resets, reboots. You have a select button. So right now we're at the main menu. So if we hit jump forward, it scrolls through the main menu, SRAMs, SRAM uncommon, and then basically when it gets to all the proms, the ROMs, the logics, customs, programming, service, that's the last one in the menu. If you go forward again, it just loops back around. No big deal. Okay, so what did I put in there? Oh, I put a 94. I can't even read it now. It's a 94 425 in there. Okay, so a couple ways that we could do that. We know it's an SRAM. We can go into here and crap. So in the manual, let's go back over to the manual. I know a lot of chips, but I don't know them all by heart and what their sizes are. And this is another reason I got the book out. In the book, it kind of gives you a reference and examples of sizes, of what your chip sizes are. So that I already know is the same as a 2115. 2115. So I think it's a 1K times 1. So let's go back over here. 5K. Oh, 1K1. Okay, so let's go. Oops. Ooh, it failed. Not what we wanted to do. So let's go back. Exit. Okay. Oh man, I'm getting all. Okay, so I know not a great video. Oh my god. So let's do this. I wanted to show you guys another function anyway. You can go into the SRAM. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. What did I say that was? A 2115? 1K times 1? It's definitely not. Okay, so let's just look through the menu here. A 2115. There we go. 2115. Now let's try it. Okay. Test passed. Happy camper. So I guess we have to be mindful. There are different versions of size ROMs. So like for example, while I was off camera, I was trying to do these 6116s. Could not get these to pass, but I know these are good. So let's go back. Top function. If I want to go back, you hit the top function. Kind of takes you back to the main menu here. So let's go to search. I like the search menu, and I want to talk about the search because it's kind of tricky. But after you learn it, it's easy. So let's go. Okay, search. Okay. So basically, what you got to do is select each character, digit, whether it's alphanumeric, whatever, letter or number, and then you go to the next position. For example, okay, so this guy, what I say, it's a 93. So we're gonna use, oh boy, the select. No, yeah, select. So see, it's counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So once you get to the first digit, then you jump forward to the next digit. 4, 3. Okay, already there. 4, 3. We have a 3. We have a 4. So we need a 2 here. So you're going to use the select button. It's a little tricky because I have forward and back buttons, but you can't really look at those in this menu. And then 5. Oops, I passed it. That's okay. And you can also push sideways on these switches to get them to go. Okay, anyway, There we go. Boom. See? And now it's going to take you to the compatible test, even though it says 2115. We already know from the manual that, well, and just, or however you know that that's just the right size. So you hit OK. Boom. Okay, cool. So that is the quick dirty of the menu. So let's say we're kind of done here. I like to test a couple times. And let's talk about the test. I know this is boring. But the test, you're like, okay, what is it testing? So there's actually a good section in here about the tests. Let me kind of get you back over into the manual. So with the testing, these are just examples, specific examples, but it kind of gives you an idea. SRAM. So let's stick with SRAM. It's going to do a pattern test, a random test, a March Y, and a March U test. So basically, it's going to write patterns into different sections of the SRAM. And I really like that he put this in, because kind of cool that you understand the test and what it does. So at different locations, it's writing in different values. I think this is just an example. I don't know if there's not a page like this for each test, but kind of give you the good idea of the pattern test, what is testing, and the random tests, which are important too, because that's kind of the bread and butter of the test to me. It's like you can do pattern tests, and the memory banks might accept it, but when you start going random values, oops, I'm hitting the beeper button, then you get a good test on your chip. But the manual, it's pretty sweet. So let's just wrap up. Let's just do a little bit more menu navigation. And I'm sorry, I think it's gonna be my first YouTube video here. So I do a lot of board repair and anything to do with arcade repair. I do a lot of repair, and I want to start making videos and kind of logging, but this was a fun project. Okay, so right now, let's see, I think I actually hit back. Now we're back up at the top menu, and again, you can navigate by using the jump button. Scrolls through the top level menu. So let's go into programming. Let's do services. Oops, I went too far. Okay, there we go. Go okay. Let's look around in here. Info. So gives us our rev number. Let's see. UPS. Good stuff. I'm not sure what all that means. Enter config. Self-test. Let's do a self-test. I'm all about the self-test. Okay. Check. Uh-oh. Yeah, there we go. So I'll be looking into that. I don't like... maybe because I got a chip in. I bet that's it. So let's take that chip out. That's like what I teach my students. You know, I teach electronics and, I teach maintenance and intermediate repair, board level repair, but I always take my student. Like, this is stuff we talk about in class all the time. Operator error, false failures. Let's see if it was a false failure. Okay, cool. That's better. So if you have a chip in, it will fail self-test. Okay, I think this is kind of too long of a segment about nothing in the menu. Actually, the menu's pretty good. You have to go through like two sections in the manual to actually get full comprehension, because they have let's just go back over to the manual here. I'll show you how they kind of have it laid out. So they have the first introduction to the menu navigation is here under testing chips and key assignment. So it'll tell you your main menu, what all of your buttons do, and then each subcategory, previous chip, next chip, your yeah, how to control into submenus. Yeah, easy enough. So, and I like this section because it breaks down your main menu. Like I said, this is just a loop. You get down to the end, it just loops around, and then it will give you and this is, let's talk about this. Let's talk about each submenu, and I'm going to use SRAM because that's really all I messed around with. So this is a submenu. There's way more chips it will test than that, but because of how many chips and space, basically they break it down. They break it down by size. So, like really under this test, I think. Well, we just found out. There's certain chips in each size. There's not a lot. There's both a lot and a lot of chips in each size to select from. But my question, and I think I'll email Stefan about this, is because like if we go back, about the chips that it will test, there's sizes 4x4, 4x8. There's a lot of sizes not in the main menu or in the sub menu for SRAM. I'm going to have to, I'm just going to go through and probably try to see if I have any of these. I grab some, throw it in, try to search them. But, not all of these sizes are in the sub menu. That's like a question I have. Let's get back to where we were. So there's that to consider. And I haven't figured out yet. Okay, submenus for all the categories: SRAM, commons, uncommons, DRAMs, ROMs. This part took me a while. What I just showed you, the searching a chip, because I was like, how the hell do you get to the search menu? Like, where is the search menu? Like, how do you get here? Wasn't like super explanatory until, it's just like anything. You gotta pay attention, right? So back over on the menu, let's go back up, top function, and then we'll scroll through. And then I noticed in services, selected as a service submenu, search is in the submenu of service. So I don't know. I think this manual is great. I'm not even going to suggest anything, but for my own notes, I'm going to put this is in the service submenu, and it probably says that back here. So yeah, reading this manual is definitely crucial. So yeah, and it just kind of walks you through like what I just walked you through, how to search. And this is something I'm going to come back to in a little bit once we look. So there is a database. So like, not all of us have all of these committed to memory. And I saw this on another video that there is a nice database and you can use it offline to help you search and find chips if you're not sure what it is or need a cross-reference to it. This database is quite extensive. I've seen online, and actually that'll help for sourcing parts, and helping find substitute parts. So this is huge, and this is a great resource. Okay, so I think that's about it. We kind of tested a couple chips. Then we'll kind of get into some of this, I think, in the other videos. Output of the test. Yes, good. It will beep at you if it's not good. And this is what I want to do next. I know my SD card reader is not in there, but I'm going to do that later. So hey, while I got you on this video, I'm gonna show you something real quick. Something I'm gonna get for this. So let's take the camera over here. So I found this online. It's actually in the shared folder of the 8-Bit Museum. Like when you buy it and you get access. But this is a sweet case. You can put legs on that tester and how it sits over here. But this is a super sweet case, and I've been emailing with this guy all week. He's got good documentation. you have to do some reconfiguring on the board. I'm going to have to desolder a bunch of stuff. Not a bunch of stuff. And it all comes with cables, like from the buttons down, the push buttons down to the push buttons on the board. Same with the ZIF. And this will use a power supply, the barrel connector power supply. So you have the contrast potentiometer here, SD card here. I think it's just good for protecting that board. If you put the time and money into it, €99, I think is well worth it. Because this is going to be a big part of, it's going to be a pretty valuable piece of test equipment for the vintage repairs. So I think you should protect it. Let's see. I don't think he would get upset. I asked him, like, hey, how, I asked him about the connections. Like, there we go. So he sent some pictures. There's pictures of the board and the bottom part in his documentation. But he sent me this. I asked him, like, hey, is there cables? I imagine there's cables and jumpers. And yes, indeed, there are. He sent me this picture so you kind of get a good idea. Oh, okay, there we go. So I'm really excited about this. Your ZIF is just going to come down and connect. You got to resolder in some header pins. So you got to desolder that, solder in header pins, solder in header pins here for the LEDs, and these LEDs, the power LEDs will all get resoldered up. And there is a LED conversion board, OLED, or the LED screen. This comes with a LED screen, but I have an OLED I already installed. He said, yeah, this is no problem. I can desolder that, solder in my new one, just make sure I get the positions right. So I think that's going to be super cool. And that's why I'm going to play with this a little bit. I just ordered it, so maybe it'll take like a week or so to get here. And yeah, that'll be cool. So that's it for today. I thought maybe perhaps today I would go ahead and desolder and get that thing ready, but that thing is like a week out, and I want to play with this thing some more. So I'm going to do some more testing. I'm going to do some more work with this, just get familiar with it, and we'll be back.